Hello and welcome back to a new Paragon discussion video, and today we're discussing the broken stun mechanics in Paragon and what the best solution in my opinion is. Let's get into just what I mean by broken stuns. Currently, some characters in Paragon will be hit by a stun just as they're pressing their ultimate, and their ultimate will then go on a full cooldown duration like they use the ultimate normally. That's not ideal to me, but that's a fine way for it to work. If someone interrupts your ability, then it should go on full cooldown. However, that's not how it works in Paragon, no sir. Here's two examples. Kwang begins to cast his ultimate, winding up for that big explosion and damage. But someone dives in and stuns him, stops the ultimate at the last second, and that ability goes on full cooldown as if it was used normally, like I just said. Then, on the other hand, we have a character like Morogesh, who has a really easy to hit ultimate when you've got vision on your target. You just press R. In the case that a good player interrupts the ultimate cast with a stun at the last second to interrupt Morogesh, maybe to save himself or maybe an ally, Morogesh's ultimate can just be pressed again right after. There is no cooldown. You just spam it until it goes off and works. I'm sure you can see the differences between those two scenarios and examples and the issue that I'm putting across. There's a lack of consistency here. In the case of Morogesh's ultimate, someone made a big play that took timing and skill to stop Morogesh from using her ultimate. Their reward is nothing, essentially just delaying the death by a few seconds. Now, in some rare cases, maybe that target gets a heal because of that extra 1 second window they got, or loses line of sight on the Mori to save himself. But that's very unlikely, and 9 times out of 10, they just die anyway. This works the exact same for Aurora's ultimate as well. If you manage to stun her in that sweet spot the moment just before she gets her ultimate off, well, she can press it again right after, no cooldown, no problem. So let's talk about what I'd prefer it to be, the solution to go along with the problem. If you attempt to cast an ultimate and have it interrupted by a knockback or stun, then it should go on a short cooldown. Let's say a random example. Let's say half the cooldown time that it would be on if you'd used it uninterrupted. Let's say an ability is normally a 60-second cooldown, but someone interrupts you as you're using it, then it goes on a 30-second cooldown. This way, if someone makes a big play to stop your ultimate or an ability, then you're punished correctly. Not like Kwang, whose ultimate acts like it was just used normally if he's stunned and goes on full cooldown. And definitely not like Morogesh or Aurora right now, who just get to laugh about your big play and press R again instantly. Does that seem like a better system to you? It does to me. Anyway, you could argue that some ultimates deserve to be punished less or more than others, and I totally agree with you. It should be done case by case, right? Let's say you're using Twin Blast's ultimate. This works different to the other examples because it's a channeled ultimate over a short duration, like Gideon Black Hole or maybe Kalari's teleport. In Twin Blast's case, if someone knocks him away or stuns him out of that channeled ultimate, then he goes back into his normal firing mode and has the full cooldown of the ultimate, which makes complete sense. That is fine. Same for Gideon. He gets to freeze in midair, so there's benefits to his ultimate right away the moment they press them. So interrupting them should result in a full cooldown. That's why I say each and every ultimate, possibly even every ability, should be considered here. Which ultimates and which abilities should go on full cooldown when interrupted, and which should go on that mini or half duration cooldown. In this case, Gideon and Twin Blast's ultimates should definitely go on full cooldown, but characters like Morogesh or Kwang's should go on like a half duration cooldown when they're interrupted. What's important at the end of the day here is that skillful plays like interrupting that big ultimate should be rewarded. It makes for better gameplay, bigger possibilities, especially at a competitive level. So why did I need to feel like I should talk about this today? My mate RGS Ace got this very question in the recent community corner, and his question was answered by Cameron Winston, the lead hero designer for Paragon. There could not actually be a better person to ask about this issue that Paragon's currently facing, so let's listen to the answer.
From RGS Ace on YouTube as well. Would love if you guys could talk about why when you stun a hero who is using his or her ultimate that the ability doesn't go on a short cooldown like Morogesh's ult. I'd love to hear the reasoning behind that.
So the short cooldown thing was a hack. It was never intended to go into the game. Like the whole point of it is like, you know, we had some inconsistent implementations that we're just trying to clean up. Like it has to do with the design philosophy is if you hit a button and the ability does something, it goes on cooldown. If you hit a button and the ability doesn't do something, it doesn't do on cooldown. So if I'm a Gideon and I go up and to do my ult and I'm doing like, you know, my transition animation and no one's taking damage and I get stunned, it doesn't go on cooldown. if I'm Morgish and I start to stab you, but nothing actually happens, it doesn't go on cooldown.
Right.
So like the idea behind it is like you can't just interrupt my ult and stop it from working. Now the thing is like, well, but what about Gideon? Like I can stun him out of his ult, and then like but he still gets a benefit from it. The idea is maybe you don't get full benefit, but if it's a channeled ultimate, part of the way Gideon's ultimate is balanced around is assuming that it's really hard to get the whole thing off. We don't actually expect you to get the whole thing off. When I ulted, did I get something? So like, why does Kalari's ult go on cooldown when you don't jump to someone? Because you get vision of the entire team for 7 seconds, regardless. Like that's a great
Which
advantage.
is amazing.
Yeah, that just doing that alone, it can be sometimes game winning, right? So if you're ever in a situation online where you use an ult or any kind of ability and it doesn't do something but goes on cooldown, like do you remember when like Gideon's teleport was like this, and you'd like be like, I'm going to teleport, and then you get stunned out of it and go on cooldown?
Yep.
Like those are bugs. Like we want to fix those. Like that's not intended ever. Like what we want is you use an ability, you get some benefit from it. If you get some benefit from it, it goes on cooldown, and then like that's kind of how we want it to be.
As you heard there, they agree that some heroes should have a full cooldown duration when interrupted, such as Gideon, who instantly gets use out of the ultimate. Since it's a channeled ability, it should be interrupted. However, it's apparently a bug that some ultimates interrupts work the way I would hope they would, that shorter cooldown when someone makes the big play on you. Apparently, you should be able to spam Moragesh's ultimate until it works, because you're entitled to that, even if someone stuns you at the right moment. It was explained in a way where you should get a reward for pressing your ability. Gideon gets to hang in the air. Moragesh gets nothing if it's stopped. I get that. That's how it should work. But I could argue, with that very logic used by Cameron there, if Moragesh didn't think that I might get interrupted during this channel, and then didn't move to a safe place, or timed it when she knew she couldn't be stopped, then she should be possibly punished by better players, which gives supports or other players with stuns and interrupts more ways to be useful. The skill cap of the game is higher when you have that as a system. Now, he even mentioned, this is nuts to me, man. He even mentioned how Gideons used to lose their ability to teleport if someone stunned them during that, 0.3 of a second cast on the teleport. How on earth was that a bug, and how is that not how it should work? That's so silly to me. Gideon's teleport allows him and his entire team to make use of a huge positioning advantage, being able to go up and over terrain and through ultimates like Deca Cage. When used correctly, it can be game-changing and game-winning, so it should be something that is punishable. It was absolutely perfect that it was this tiny window in which perfect timing was required to stop the teleport and stop the portal. It needed to be done in such a way that you're timing the stun, predicting when he's going to do it. You can't react to his teleport. You have to throw it when you think he's about to teleport, and it hits him just in time. But apparently, that extremely skillful and awesome play is not intended. And I'm really, really against that train of thought, so I thought I'd make this video. But just like my last discussion, the one about the power of towers, obviously not everyone agreed with me. So what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd also really like to make this clear. I make this video and videos like this because I care about the game and I want it to be the best it possibly can be. But just because I think this is the right way to do it doesn't mean it actually is. Doesn't mean it'll ever end up this way. In the cases of towers, they haven't changed them. They're still really weak. And honestly, maybe that's better for the game. I'm not always going to be right, and that's why this is a discussion video. My thoughts, my opinion, out there for you guys to chew on and see if you agree or disagree with. I want to hear your thoughts, guys. Let me know. Big shout out to RGS Ace for bringing up the issue, getting his question on the community corner there. His channel is linked in the description. He makes great Paragon videos. You've got to check him out. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've been Hollow, you've been you, and I will see you guys next time for more Paragon. Bye for now.